Okay, let's unpack this. I stumbled across something truly bizarre the other day. Apparently, Gemini Code Assist, this AI tool that helps with code reviews.
Yeah, I know the one.
Well, it sometimes leaves little poems in its feedback.
Poems. Seriously, in code reviews.
I know, right? My first thought was, this is a weird feature. Why? But then I thought, maybe weird is good. Maybe it's beautiful, even.
Huh. That is unexpected. Sort of fascinating, the idea of creativity emerging from a purely functional tool like that.
Exactly. And get this,
Mm-hmm.
someone actually noticed this pattern and built a whole project around it.
No way, really.
Yeah, it's called Gemini Code Assist PR Poetry. So for this deep dive, our mission really is to understand how this project works, why it's captured my and hopefully your imagination, and, what it reveals about this weird intersection of code and creativity.
Okay, I'm intrigued. It sounds like a shortcut to something genuinely unique.
Totally. Think of it as your quick guide to being in the know about something cool and maybe a bit mind-bending about AI. We'll be looking at the project's changelog, the read.mb file, a blog post from the person who made it, some examples of the poems themselves, and even reviews of the project, written by other AIs.
AI reviewing an AI poetry collection project. Okay, that's definitely meta. It does tap into that bigger picture, doesn't it? We usually think AI is all about efficiency, automation,
Right, pure function.
but this suggests maybe there's potential for something more expressive, even if
Yeah.
it's totally accidental.
So how did this whole poetic AI thing even start? Well, the creator wrote in their blog post about reviewing a pull request. Request to merge code changes.
Mm-hmm. Standard stuff.
And I saw this comment from the @Gemini Code Assist bot, something like, in FileMain.py, a bug was found, now patched and polished, safe and sound.
Whoa, okay, yeah, I can see how that would make you do a double take. Did an AI just rhyme?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That same jolt of, wait, what? It wasn't something anyone was looking for, right?
Definitely not a listed feature, I imagine. Just this weird, interesting side effect of its analysis process.
And apparently it wasn't a one-off.
Mm.
These little poetic bits were popping up pretty consistently. The blog post shared other examples, like a really short one, a refactor here, a fix over there. This PR shows true coding care.
Huh. That's quite neat. Almost sounds like a little advertising jingle for good coding practice.
Or even something more task-focused, but still with a certain cadence. This function has grown too large to maintain. Consider splitting it into smaller parts again. You can almost hear the AI sighing.
It's interesting how even the technical advice can have that rhythm. Makes you wonder about the language model itself, doesn't it? How these patterns just emerge.
Right. And the creator's motivation, I thought this was cool, was basically to prove creativity can pop up anywhere. They wanted to build this tool to collect these gorgeous tiny flowers growing on a big pile of snips.
I like that metaphor. Snips of code, snippets of poetry.
Yeah. Finding beauty in the nuts and bolts.
It really speaks to that sense of curiosity, doesn't it? Appreciating the stuff most people might just scroll past.
Okay, so they have this idea. Let's grab these AI poems. How'd they actually do it? That's where the tool Gemini Code Assist PR Poetry comes in.
The collector itself.
Right. It's basically a Python tool. It scans public GitHub pull requests, those code merge requests, looking specifically for comments made by the @Gemini Code Assist bot.
So it's like a digital archivist for AI verse?
Pretty much. Its whole job is to spot the comments that sound poetic and then, save them.
Preserving these little accidents of AI creativity before they disappear in the feed. It's about finding them, not making them.
Exactly. And it saves them in two ways, which I think is smart. There's a human-readable markdown file, gemflowers.md. You can just open that and read the poems.
Nice and simple for browsing.
But it also saves them in JSON format, gemflowers.json. That's machine readable.
Ah, so that opens the door for, future analysis, maybe feeding them to another AI to study.
Could be. It's a really thoughtful design covering both casual reading and potential future number crunching or analysis.
Okay, so how does it technically work? Let's peek under the hood.
Right. The tech deep dive, but we'll keep it simple. It's basically 4 steps. First, scanning. You give it a GitHub repository URL, the project's web address, and a specific pull request number.
Got it. So it knows where to look.
Then it fetches all the comments for that PR. Step 2 is filtering.
Okay, narrowing it down.
Yeah, it ignores all the human comments and just keeps the ones written by @Gemini Code Assist.
Makes sense. Focus on the source.
Now, step 3 is the really clever bit. Poem identification. How does it know if a comment is poetic?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? It's not always obvious.
Now, it uses another AI, a lightweight large language model. It feeds each Gemini comment to this second AI and asks it a very specific question.
Which is?
Does this text contain poetic elements such as rhythm, rhyme, meter, or intentional literary devices? Respond only with yes or no.
Ah, okay, so it's not asking for a literary critique, just a structural check. Does it look like a poem based on these features?
Exactly. It's using AI to spot the artistic-ish output of another AI. Kind of fascinating.
A sort of AI on AI analysis. Very interesting.
And if that second LLM says yes, then step 4 is saving. The comment gets saved into both the Markdown and JSON files.
Along with some context, I assume?
Yep. It includes metadata, like the date, the PR number it came from, and the repository name. Gives it all context.
That metadata is crucial. You could track patterns, see if certain types of code changes trigger more poems, maybe?
Potentially.
Yeah.
So what kind of gems has this thing actually dug up? The gemflowers.md file has some examples.
Let's hear one.
Okay, here's one from the tool's own repository, Gemini Code Assist PR Poetry. From Poetry's Hold, a tool for PR tales unfolds. PullPal stands alone.
PullPal, is that part of the tool?
Must be. It's like the AI wrote a little tagline for the project. Pretty meta.
Huh, that's great. What?
Here's one from a different project, Making Bandit UI. A manager's plight, names clashing in the night, rename, refactor, code satisfaction factor. Now clarity shines bright.
Key, that one tells a little story, captures that feeling of wrestling with code, and then the satisfaction of cleaning it up. It's drawing right from the developer experience.
Totally. And one more, this one's a bit longer, from a repo called George Was Right. A template's gentle guide, placeholders where models reside, clarity's soft grace, in the .env space, for agents, plans, side by side.
Nicely put. Again, very related to the coding task itself.
But what's interesting here, this exact poem, it actually appears twice in the collected file from the same PR.
Oh, really? A duplicate.
Yeah, so maybe the duplicate detection isn't perfect yet, or perhaps the AI just really liked that verse and repeated itself.
Or maybe it commented twice on slightly different parts of the code with the same poetic flair. Either way, it shows these tools are still evolving, right?
Yeah,
Always being refined.
definitely. And you can really see that evolution if you look at the project's changelog. It maps out how it went from just a basic idea to something, well, much more sophisticated.
Right, the development journey.
Yeah, the first version, 1.0.0, was pretty simple. Just collected poems into that markdown file, basic re-80ME. But then the creator really started adding features.
Like what?
Well, pretty quickly, they added an automated script, get newflowers.py, to just keep scanning for new poems automatically.
So it's not just manual anymore. That makes sense.
And support for checking multiple repositories, not just one at a time. Plus that duplicate detection we mentioned, though maybe still needs tweaking.
Okay, getting more robust.
They also switched the display order to LIFO last in, first out.
So the newest poems are always at the top. Smart, easy to see the latest finds.
Right. And adding command line arguments for customization, better source attribution for each poem, which is important, and rate limiting.
Rate limiting. Oh, to avoid hammering GitHub servers too much?
Exactly. Just being a good citizen on the platform.
That shows practicality and thinking about real-world use.
And it kept going. They added caching to speed things up.
Yeah.
Support for finding poems in full PR reviews, not just isolated comments.
Oh, broadening the search.
Yeah. Richer metadata too, like PR titles and dates. Progress tracking during scans. A dry run mode for testing.
The run is always useful.
And then the big one. Integrating LightLM for the actual poem detection.
Ah, LightLM. That's the bit that lets it talk to different AI models, right? Like OpenAI, Azure, Gemini itself, even local ones like Olama.
Exactly. It makes the tool way more flexible. If one AI model is down or busy, LightLM can automatically try another one. It adds resilience.
That's a really key architectural choice. Very clever. Makes it much less dependent on a single provider.
And they kept refining things, adding that JSON output for machines, creating a separate utility just to grab entire PR conversations.
For deeper context, maybe.
Probably. Even small tweaks, like removing markdown block quotes later on just to make the output cleaner, shows real attention to detail.
It paints a picture of rapid, thoughtful development.
What's also wild are the reviews of this project, written by other AIs. DeepSeek V3 and Qwen3 235B chimed in.
Okay, the AI peer review. What did they think?
They were pretty positive. They liked the creative concept, obviously, praised the modular structure, how it could scale, its resilience, having both Markdown and JSON outputs.
So hitting on a lot of the good design points we just discussed.
Yeah, and the automation, the good documentation, just the whole innovative use of AI in this way.
Did they point out anything interesting in the implementation?
They did notice the Lytel LM integration, calling it a strength, and they like that separate tool for grabbing conversations. One of them called it comment archaeology.
Comment archaeology, I love that. Digging through past discussions.
Me too. They also noted the LIFO ordering, but they also had suggestions for improvement.
Oh, like what?
Well, both AIs kind of wanted more clarity on how that second LLM actually decides if something is a poem. What are the specific criteria beyond just rhythm, rhyme, meter?
That's a fair point. More transparency in the core logic.
They also suggested better error handling, beyond just the rate limiting. And a note about security, reminding users to keep their AI API keys safe.
Standard but important advice, especially when dealing with API keys.
Other ideas included making the project's own testing more visible, thinking about performance with huge repositories, encouraging more community involvement,
Building it out, getting more people involved.
even integrating it into CI/CD pipelines, like automatically checking for poems during software builds.
Wow, okay. So the AI reviewers really dug into the software engineering aspects too. They saw potential for wider use.
Absolutely. Their feedback was pretty insightful, showing they understood the project and where it could go next. The creator also listed future plans, like a web interface, categorizing poems, stats, maybe even supporting other code assistant bots.
So it's still very much a live project with ambitions.
Seems like it. So why does all this matter? Why should you, listening, care about AI poetry in code reviews?
Good question. What's the takeaway?
Well, it goes back to that initial idea from the creator, right? Recognizing creativity in unexpected places. That functional tool doing something artistic, even by accident.
That aha moment, it challenges our boxes for what technology is supposed to do.
Exactly. It encourages a different way of looking at AI, maybe technology in general. And for you, interested in getting knowledge quickly, but also finding those cool aha moments, this is a perfect little case study.
Yeah, it's a unique window into AI interacting with code with developers in a way we didn't really anticipate.
It really underlines the value of just being curious, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Looking at the weird outputs and asking, what's going on here? Instead of just ignoring them.
absolutely. Curiosity driving discovery and innovation.
But just to give a final snapshot, the latest stats from that gemflowers.md file as of May 2nd, 2025.
The current count.
Yeah, it had found 9 poems total after scanning 19 pull requests across 3 different repositories. It noted 7 duplicates and had about a 47% success rate identifying poems. The main detection LLM was GitHub Cheat 4.0.
Okay, so still early days in terms of volume, but it proves the concept works.
Definitely. So wrapping this up, Gemini Code Assist, the AI helper, sometimes writes poetry. A developer noticed and built a cool tool to collect these poems automatically.
And this whole thing shines a light on that surprising overlap between code, AI, and creativity.
And for you, the listener, hopefully this deep dive gives you a richer understanding of this unique project. It's a great example of how technology can sometimes surprise us in delightful ways.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What other unexpected creativity might be lurking in the digital tools we use every day?
Exactly. Could you find something similar? Build a tool to capture it. The Gemini Code Assist PR Poetry project is out there on GitHub. It's public. Go take a look. Maybe you'll find your own poetic PRs to contribute.
It's a reminder that as AI evolves, our relationship with technology is changing in ways we're probably only just beginning to understand, sometimes functional, sometimes surprisingly poetic.